Welcome to Monday, August 15th, 2022. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Cowboy State Daily has more original Wyoming news content than any other news organization in the state. Sign up for their daily newsletter and check them out on their Facebook page. Well, it was a wild and woolly weekend of monsoon moisture over the weekend. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Some areas really impacted. The monsoon pattern is going to shift further south, going to be concentrating into Colorado, Utah's southern areas, the Four Corners area, down into the Rio Grande of West Texas. That's where we're going to see the rain over the next few days. Southern Wyoming will still have another day of shower and thunderstorm activity, but the monsoon is shifting south. A cool front kind of depressing it to the south, kind of putting it away for a few days, at least for Wyoming, Montana, and the northern plains before it does come back this weekend. It is going to be cooler. Temperature readings aren't going to be really all that far off of normal values for mid-August. Pretty nice, really, considering the time of year. Now, that monsoon pattern shifts south through Friday, but it does start to come back north into the region. This will be the third time it does this, where it resurges and goes really far north into the region. This is going to happen this weekend. I think the middle to the end of the weekend and into early next week, we're going to see the monsoon again. I don't know if it's going to be as intense as what we just saw, but it's going to have at least one more visit into the northern and central Rockies by this weekend into early next week. Here's a shot out of Laramie. Thanks to Sid in Laramie for sending this. Saturday afternoon in Laramie, just a classic monsoon thunderstorm pattern where a cluster of thunderstorms developed right across the Laramie Valley, right through the heart of the city, and concentrated the rain right over the populated areas of Albany County there in the Laramie area. Lots of basement flooding, lots of street flooding. There's a lot of photos on the internet of people in boats going on rubber inner tubes around town. 2 to 3 inches of rain fell in Laramie in less than 2 hours. And here you can see, thanks to volunteer weather spotters with 4-inch rain gauges, this is from the Coco Reyes site where volunteers daily measure precipitation. This is important, and I'll tell you why. Because here in town, you can see these rain amounts for Saturday. Look at that. 2.73 inches, 2.5 inches right in the middle of town. And you can see the concentration of the very heavy rain, really not over a big area, but it's right over town. You get outside of town and amounts are very different. Why is this important to have volunteers like this? Because the Laramie Regional Airport, just west of town, only picked up 0.36 inches of rain. So an average summer thunderstorm at the airport, but you go into town, a much different story. That's why you gotta be really careful with weather and climate data, know where it was measured, and don't make the assumption that it didn't rain heavy by looking at what the airport reading was west of town, because in town, it was a completely different ballgame. Just ask anybody that has a flooded basement. Satellite photo this morning shows 2 things of interest: the continued subtropical plume coming up out of Mexico through the region, then arching back into the Corn Belt and Midwest again. Another thing to highlight, look at this. This is not a named storm, but this developed in the Northwest Gulf over the weekend, and this is drifting west-northwestward like this into Mexico, into southwestern Texas over the next couple of days. That's going to be a big rain producer for South Texas, Southwest Texas, and Northeast Mexico. And this could add moisture into the equation later this week and the weekend for the central and northern Rockies as well. Here we are with today's forecast chart. You can see the high is now gone east into Texas. That has allowed the monsoon moisture flow to still come in, but it's going to be shunted south, because a little bit of a frontal system right here, the jet stream pressing south, is going to take that monsoon moisture and push it further south. There's that upper level low over southwest Texas there, over northeast Mexico, that's going to be drifting this way. So there's actually quite a few moving parts to the weather this week. Here's the precipitable water forecast for today across the region. You can still see that streak of blue going through there, and that's where the most active showers and thunderstorms will be. But this axis of blue will continue to shift south. And there you can see the moisture with that tropical system down there. This is for Tuesday afternoon. See the depression south and the drier air coming in from the north? And as we go all the way into Thursday, You then see the monsoon get stretched back into the Pacific Northwest again and into this area here, while drier and somewhat cooler air relative to averages gets pushed into the northern plain states and things settle down. So there's going to be a suppression by mid to late week of the monsoon out of the area. However, it's likely going to come back. High pressure retreats back to the northwest. Here's that low over Mexico. It's the same one that's right here right now. Then we've got this next series of lows coming in from the northwest. So it's going to warm up west of the Continental Divide and into the Pacific Northwest mid to late in the week, but it's going to be short-lived. Wanted to show you what we could see over south and southwest Texas down into New Mexico. Look at Mexico here. Some very heavy rain producing thunderstorms. Likely going to be a flooding situation in this part of the region as we go through this week because of that tropical system. It's one of these systems that formed right on the coast and has moved inland, so it's not going to turn into a tropical storm or a hurricane because it is moving inland, but it is taking a lot of Gulf of Mexico moisture and pushing into that region there. This is also going to continue to cool off Texas. The worst of their summer heat is over. Now, we talked about the monsoon returning. This is by next late Saturday afternoon into Sunday. Notice the axis again. This looks extremely similar to what just happened a week ago. Really, this is going to happen 3 weekends in a row where the monsoon leaves, then it comes back with this large north-south axis. So as we get to the middle to the end of the weekend, it's going to be drifting right back overhead again. So by this weekend and early next week, another round of heavy rain producing showers or thunderstorms could be coming to the Rockies and High Plains again, and that will keep our temperatures down a little bit. And now we're going to be talking about the week after that, which is late August, to where we just normally start to see conditions get a little bit cooler. This is by next Monday. By next Monday, notice we don't have as many reds over the lower 48 states. We actually have a little bit of a low pressure system over the central Rockies, another one in the Pacific Northwest, one in the Great Lakes. So we're basically starting to see late summer patterns certainly evolving now to where it won't be as hot. And we're seeing these opportunities occasionally present themselves for some shower and thunderstorm activity. Have yourself a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.